Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog a day, and today is Sunday the 18th, and today was a beautiful weather day. Temperature wise was nice and cool, crazy heavy rain for a bit, but overall just windy upon so many levels of windy. So Karen had decided she wanted to go to the beach today. Actually decided yesterday she wanted to go to the beach today and didn't know what the weather was going to be. So we got up this morning, didn't get in a big hurry to get to the beach because we don't. We probably should, but it is what it is. So decided to hell with it. We hung around the house for a little bit, got a couple nothing major done. Just kind of chilled out a little bit. Ended up eating ourselves some apple fritters. We brought some apple fritters yesterday at Sam's Club, and they're delicious. They're so good. But we had those. I microwaved mine for a little bit, kind of warm it up about 15 seconds, and just so much better. She eats hers just cold off the counter, and not my thing. So got done with all that stuff. Decided she wanted to go to the beach, so we basically I lit up the sunshade. Didn't realize how windy it was going to be beachside. So the sunshade was impossible to even put up, but went ahead, threw in a couple chairs, and I threw in the new Chase loungers that I bought, the really badass teak loungers we bought. I thought, hey, if we go, depending on what part of what beach we go to, throw them down, partly in the water, and I figure they're eventually going to rust out, especially being in the salt water and in and out of the ocean water, waves hitting them. But it'd be kind of nice to set the water splashing up on you while you're kind of lounging out on one of those little Chase loungers. That would just be kind of a nice, fun little experience, almost like as if I was at a fancy-ass resort. But I bought them, cheap enough that I'm not going to be concerned if they get ruined and the bolts rust out of them. The teak should be fine with the salt water, and just hose them off when I get back. But eventually, the material will, the metal rust out, which I figure, worst case scenario, I'll upgrade maybe some stainless and stuff. But didn't end up happening. We headed over to the beach side, and we noticed the wind was picking up, and I realized that there was virtually no chance we was going to be able to anchor that thing down and keep it in place without it blowing away. So we headed on down, decided we go check out the National Seashore. You have to have a pass, which we have a pass that was good. Actually expired, but they extended it 2 more months, so it'll be good to the end of this month because of the whole shutdown with COVID. They gave us a little extra time, but headed down to it, went all the way down to the last spot, which is actually the nude beach. We go there quite a bit, and we used to go there more often. We haven't been there in a long time, so went ahead, head down there, and you can't drive on the beach, but you can park right next to it. Found a parking spot. Often, by the time we get there, it's never open. No spots open at this point because it's way too small. Parking lot on the north side of that beach there. So went ahead, parked, walking a little bit. It was just so windy. It was going to be one of those things where it was not going to be truly enjoyable. Even if we just sat out there and didn't set up the canopy, which we would not be able to stay that long, because Karen especially, she is so fair-skinned, she would burn immensely quickly in the whole process. So went ahead and said to heck with it. We hung out there for a few minutes. I mean, a little while. We kind of hung out still at like the edge of the ramp there for a while, and then said to hell with it, headed back. Kind of thought about hitting the other side, and maybe the Kennedy, parks like that, just kind of hang out in the water there a little bit, and just kind of gave up on it because it was just that drizzly. Rain was on its way. It was coming, but it hadn't got here yet, and just so windy it wasn't going to be worth it. So on our way back, we was kind of driving around a little bit. Ended up hitting up a open house. We saw an open house that we stopped in at, and it was still beachside, but not anywhere near water, kind of thing. And nice enough place, but man, the price was just way more than it needed to be for what it was. So ironically, of all the places we've seen lately, the yard was nothing special, but the house inside was on point. The kitchen was a great layout, had a nice little living room area. Actually had kind of a secondary living room with like a lofty looking area that dropped down. They literally had built onto it and put a nice big not really a sunroom because it doesn't open up into being airy, but it would be a great second living room if a guy wanted to do. Could actually be walled off and turned into like a guest room super easily, except there's no exit then to the backyard, which had the pool and the nice fenced in yard. And it had this weird, the whole yard was covered in seashells, and it was just like, why would you want to get out of the pool and walk across that crap? There was a few pavers you could walk across, but you kind of lose the whole purpose of a yard. So I would have had to pull all the shell out, which I probably would have just moved to the front and made an extra parking spot up front and whatnot, because the only driveway's on the side, which there was, I don't know, you had to walk around the house. There's no sidewalk to it, so I had to pour all that if I wanted to do. Or most likely, I'd probably just put a circle drive in the front, which I'd use all the shell from the backyard for it. But the house was well done. Like the faucets were nice, the sinks were nice. It was on a dual AC unit, so you could close off part of the house when you're not using it, and only air condition the part you really want to. Fairly nice setup. Kind of a weird layout with the laundry room, and the hallway thing was a little bit on the weird side, so that was not really the biggest that was probably the biggest downfall to it. And I never saw an entrance. There was no way to get to the garage. It was a little tiny one-car garage, and it looked like there was no way to get to it from in the house. So you had to go from the garage all the way back around to the house, which isn't a big deal unless it's like raining, and then you're like trying to go around. Which right now my garage is used for the motorcycle and storage of kayaks, that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't be that big a deal. It's not like you're bringing groceries in that way anyway. But that's what the circle drive up front I would put in would end up being for, in my opinion, would be the best way to go. So, and again, the price was probably at least $100,000 over what it should have been, maybe $150,000 over what it should have been for the same process. Actually, maybe 200 really. Cause you just pay so much more on that side of the intercoastal. It's just a lot more money. So, but it is what it is. It was a nice enough place. It just wouldn't have worked for us for our budget, and the layout was still a little bit weird. But the kitchen was on point. Had a nice dining room, nice big fireplace. They painted white, which I wasn't really a big fan of. But a guy could come in, and one of the things we thought I wanted to do is add a bigger backsplash behind the counter, and maybe tie into the same color, whatever tile we put there. Maybe paint the fireplace the same, kind of tie it into it that way, the same kind of tie the rooms things. The fireplace was actually in the kitchen living room, and then the dining room was back behind it, so it was kind of a strange layout, but it would have worked just fine. So it was really neat. They had a really cool like square dining room table, which was nice because the room was very square, and it was just a cool setup. We liked the house, everything about it. The price was ridiculous and the yard was not that great. So but we had a great time on the way back. It was kind of drizzling here and there and stuff. Got back home, went ahead and changed out, decided we were gonna get our Karen wanted to get her walk in, and I wanted to get my run in, so we basically changed out, headed on the walk, and it was starting to drizzle, and I was making fun of her. Bruce and I and her were out walking, and they kept making fun of her, going, "You're gonna get rained on," because she's not really big on walking out and running in the rain kind of thing. And I was making fun of her the whole time, which ironically I'm out here with her, so it isn't like I'm getting away with nothing. So went ahead and got her walk done. And by the time she got done, she's about halfway, a little over halfway, and it just started pouring down rain, which I have a hat on, and she don't. She doesn't wear a hat. I don't know why. I've offered to get her hats all the time. She has plenty of hats, just won't put them on. So she has like water dripping off her nose and stuff, which ended up biting her in the butt really hard because she had put on sunscreen because we thought we were going to the beach, which we didn't say there. So then the sunscreen started running into her eyes from the rain, started making her eyes burn and stuff. So that was not the best thing for her. Unfortunately, it kind of sucked. But I kept making her, "Don't bump my phone. Don't bump my phone." That's my puppy. "Don't bump my phone. I'm talking." But went ahead, we got back, and I was going to leave the dog here because it was raining hard enough that I was concerned about not getting seen by cars and stuff, and he's a black dog and whatnot. So I went ahead and actually threw on a really bright colored rain jacket, like a running rain jacket. It was actually one from Boston Marathon I picked up, but like, I don't know, it was like one of like the Ross Dress for Less type place. I bought it for like $6. It was dirt cheap, which I think they're like $55 in Boston at the race. So went ahead and I threw it on real quick, mostly just to be seen by cars. It's kind of a bright pinkish color, super bright, lots of reflector on it, and I thought I'd be less likely to get run over by cars because it was raining hard enough. It was a little bit sketchy in the rain. You just have to be super protective of cars. I just don't expect them to ever see me when I have that coming, and I will get like over in the grass and completely get off the road just to help protect myself because people are just not, they don't pay attention. And I went ahead, I was gonna leave, like I said, I was gonna leave Bruce here, but he was like adamant, like he wanted to go back out again. I'm like, okay, he loves to run in the rain, absolutely loves it, keeps him cool, he don't overheat. And walking with Karen in the rain, it was actually felt cold. The wind was blowing. We probably had 15 to 25 mile an hour, gusts and stuff, 50 mile an hour constant. It was just blowing hard, and it was cold. But once you start running, you overheat real quick. Then I had the jacket on, made it hotter too. So I ended up running with the jacket open a lot of it, but at least I was being seen by cars. So Bruce and I went out, got my run in, got the run completed and whatnot. She was going to hop in the hot tub to kind of warm up from being out in the cold rain. And she got here, and as she was getting to get in the tub, she heard some crazy loud lightning and thunder. And she's like, "Nope, I'm out." So she just went and basically said held it and stayed inside. I got back home from my run, got myself cleaned up, got a shower, basically chilled out a little bit, just hung around the house. And with the weather crappy like it was, we just kind of hung out, kind of did some lazy TV watching. Before anything really started, before I turned the TV on, I went ahead and decided to make myself up some sausages that we bought at Sam's. I grilled up some of them in the pan. I fried them up real quick, sliced them up, made up some pasta, I don't know, rigatoni I think it was, made some pasta, threw in some spaghetti sauce, and basically served her the pasta sauce on the side, which I'm a guy that dumps it all in, so I like it to melt into my noodles a lot better and kind of get that flavoring, and she likes it on the side. So we left it on the side, which works out fine. Put it in my bowl, I stirred it all up, and the leftovers we dumped all in one pan, so we're good to go. But part of the problem is that you end up putting too much sauce on, I think, and then you end up with a lot of pasta noodles and you throw it because you don't have enough sauce. So it is what it is. My cousin Scotty always wanted a spaghetti with meat sauce on the side, and his mom never did it. So my mom, every once in a while, he would come to the house. She'd make him spaghetti with, meatballs and stuff, and leave it on the side for him. So she'd pull his off first. He'd get it on the side, then we'd mix the rest in, and we'd all have it the way we wanted it. So he was the oddball, and I guess my wife is the same way as my oddball cousin. So now I got to make it for her once in a while that way, which wouldn't be that big a deal. I can just pull some pasta out for her, and then be first meal and leftovers. I'm not gonna do, it's not worth the hassle of that. So went ahead, got done with it. We kind of chilled out a little bit, laid on the couch with her for a little while. Then she set up. We ended up watching a scary movie, and we were watching because she's not a scary movie fan. She doesn't watch many scary movies. So I'm trying to. It's October, so I thought I'd let her watch a scary movie, and I got her one good time. I kind of did the whole bikes startle her kind of thing, scared the crap out of her. It was an intense moment, so we had a good laugh there, and we just kind of chilled out a little bit. Ended up, I actually dozed off for a minute. Nothing major, but probably 3 to 5 minutes. I took a little bit of a nap there, and then we kind of hung around a little bit. Rain cut back and stopped raining pretty good, so I decided to come out here and have myself a cigar. Didn't even bring the dog out because he just now came out. I've been out here, had a full cigar out here before he even showed up because the ground's all wet and muddy. It's not standing water, luckily. We had enough rain drainage. The ground was dry enough, it drained out, so it didn't actually stand water. Probably about an hour after it stopped raining, it drained out, and I was good there. But so he's now out here getting himself a chance to go to the bathroom and hang out with me for a few minutes before he head back inside. So that's pretty much all we got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.